Today, I want to talk with you about something we call brassica vegetables. Have you heard that term before, brassica? It's referring to the cruciferous vegetables. You know, the things like kale and broccoli and cauliflower, spinach, Brussels sprouts. Of course, that's my favorite. But there has been some concern for those of us or folks and clients that might have hypothyroidism or underactive thyroid. There have been myths and rumors about the impact of cruciferous vegetables on the functionality of the thyroid gland. So, in certain situations, cruciferous vegetables have been shown to interfere with how your thyroid gland uses iodine. See, using iodine, we need iodine for functional thyroid processes. And it's not really clear if eating these vegetables in moderation can have harmful effects with those people that have thyroid disease. And many people with hypothyroidism can safely incorporate these vegetables into your diet. But here's what you need to know about cruciferous vegetables. First of all, brassica or cruciferous all belong to a related plant family that includes bok choy and broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, collard greens, turnip greens, mustard greens, kale. What we love about those vegetables, by the way, are their fiber content. Fiber is so important for keeping us regular, sweeping through the body and system and binding up excess estrogens, hormones, binding up excess cholesterol, and helping us eliminate those things. They're very unique in that they've got this compound that's, and I'll butcher it, glucosinolates. I didn't do bad there. Glucosinolates that gives them their distinct sulfury smell. But those chemicals and others found in the cruciferous vegetables are considered goitrogens. And you may have heard of the term a goiter when your thyroid gets thick and lumpy, has developed a goiter, which means that you've got an interference of your body and your thyroid ability to utilize iodine. So we use iodine for the production of thyroid hormone. And if you can't get enough iodine, your levels drop. So with my client population, I found that, which is of course about 80% female, and of those females, about 80% have under-functioning thyroid. So the first piece of advice I give is to install a shower filter and a bath filter and a drinking water filter. Why? Well, tap water and municipal water has fluoride and chloride in it. And fluoride, chloride, bromide, and iodide are all halogens. And the only one that the body craves and needs is iodine or iodide. However, fluoride and chloride and bromide, which you find in vegetable oils and swimming pools and hot tubs, all things, have the same key pattern to the receptor site on your thyroid. And so consequently, we are so exposed to those chemicals, it takes up the receptor sites on our thyroid, and we're underexposed in not taking in enough iodine. So I say the first thing we can do to improve thyroid health is to get rid of the phonies, the imposters, the fluoride and chloride and bromide, and make sure we are getting iodine. So one of the things also that I think is so interesting is that we think of these leafy greens as rich in minerals, which they are, because when they're growing in soil, they chelate, suck up all the minerals from the soil, assuming that our soils are mineral rich. But when you are eating cruciferous vegetables a lot, and if you're eating them raw, they're going to do the same thing and chelate and pull the minerals out of your teeth and your bones. I had a client that was eating raw kale and raw spinach every day for years, and she developed a lot of cavities. So we know that, you know, you go to a party and there's the big vegetable tray with raw broccoli and raw cauliflower, et cetera. Don't eat it raw. I counsel all of my clients to eat cruciferous vegetables in abundance, but eat them cooked. Now you can blanch them, you can steam them, you can roast them in batches, in big batches. You know, there's no reason why you should say, I can't have any of them. Just steam, blanch, roast. don't have a raw spinach salad every day. Don't eat raw kale every day. Because see, cruciferous vegetables also contain something called oxalates and phytates, which are anti-nutrients. It's almost like a defense mechanism. I don't want to be eaten. And oxalates and phytates can cause other issues within the body, especially like autoimmune conditions or arthritis, painful joints, etc. So it's interesting that this professor from the College of Medicine at Baylor in Houston was talking. He says, you shouldn't be afraid of cruciferous vegetables. However, there was a study from in the 20s that watched rabbits eat a lot of raw cabbage every day. And in fact, their thyroids became enlarged. They had that goiter effect. So that's kind of what made us all think about that. But according to researchers at Oregon State University, normal consumption of foods that contain goitrogens will not increase your risk of hypothyroidism unless someone is already really deficient in iodine. And the way I recommend my clients increase their iodine is through using seafood, seaweeds, salads, sea snacks. There's also a lovely sprinkle on granulated kelp that has iodine in it. We think about our salts being enriched with iodine, but I just don't go there because I don't like the commercial salts. I prefer sea salts. So we're not to be afraid of the cruciferous brassica family. All we think of is leafy greens, cabbage, coleslaw is my favorite. Cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, broccolini, Brussels sprouts. Just come up with a clever way to batch prepare roasted Brussels sprouts and roasted cabbage and steamed and creamed spinach and kale when it's raw. One of the ways to make it more digestible and more available to the body is by chopping up very finely and massaging it with olive oil. That seems to be the technique for really getting and letting that kale become very digestible. So goitrogens can also be found, believe it or not, in spinach, strawberries, peaches, and peanuts, but not in any amount that's concerning. So do you limit your intake of cruciferous vegetables if you have hypothyroidism? Well, I would ask your doctor. I would not juice raw cruciferous vegetables because then you're getting too much of the goitrogenic compounds, and you should cook them. That's really comes on the bottom line there. So tell me your favorite way of eating Brussels sprouts or cauliflower or cabbage or kale. Just make sure you're cooking them somehow, some way, and then you've got a nutrient-dense, fabulous addition to your daily diet.